And even though Richard Myers, aka Ritchie, that's Ritchie spelt with a T, was a smallish 5'6" shortstop and had only one at-bat in the major leagues, he could always say, that's still one more at-bat than you or me. For today's show, like many I put out, usually there's no rhyme or reason, unless there's a specific date involved. Most of the time, it's whatever episode gets finished written first, or the easiest to write out by hand. It's a coincidence today's show is about another pint-sized player from Northern California who at 5'6" is even shorter than Chick Peretti, who I just did a show on. The two played together in 1955 on the Solons and in 1956 with the LA Angels. That's Chick Peretti right there next to Ritchie. Ritchie Myers was born in Sacramento, 1930, the star pitcher at Elk Grove High School, and also pitched for his American Legion team. He played in over 900 minor league games, with the first of those 900-plus games played in 1948 with his hometown team, the Sacramento Solons, Triple-A ball in the Pacific Coast League, and that's where he spent 7 of his 9 seasons in pro ball. Started as a pitcher, but quickly turned into a shortstop, and early on in his career would split time between the Solons and 2 Class B teams, the Wenatchee Chiefs and the Salem Senators. But from 1952 through 1955, Ritchie Myers was a constant in the city of Sacramento, playing in nearly 700 games over the years and pretty much made his home there. And after baseball, he would. Dad has 4 of Ritchie's autographs. That's Ritchie, spelt with a T. He has 3 from 1955 and 1 from 1956. This 55 scorebook has all Solons players on it except for Emmett Ashford, the first black umpire in MLB, and has a terrible signature, and I should have showed it to you. Dad has another 55 seal scorebook with all Solons players on it, signed in pencil. That Ritchie Myers also signed, and he crossed the T in Ritchie with authority. The reason I mention that, and it gets back to the variables in autograph collecting, because during my research, everywhere I see Ritchie's name on the internet, it's spelt without a T. I saw an autographed index card, also spelt without a T. Yet, all of the autographs Ritchie Myers signed for my dad, he signed Ritchie with a T. Staying on the theme of consistently inconsistent, Ritchie is listed in 2 1956 MLB spring training programs as a Cub, and it turns out his last name is spelled wrong in one, and in the other he's listed as Dick Myers. Truth be told, I had to redo all my notes because I spelled his last name wrong also. That red page were all LA Angels players and their manager from 1956 spring training camp in Arizona, all signing as Cubs. Looks like Ritchie signed into his manager Bob Sheffing. Casey Wise signed in the middle, and L. Tappy, their catcher, and Ray Bauer, the pitcher, signed on the edges. I always like to try and figure out who signed first. It seems if it's a clean page, some guys will sign in the middle at an angle, kind of haphazard. Others will sign across the top if it's a clean page, more methodical. Either way, lines get crossed. Dad has multiple autographs from all of these guys. They were all at that spring training camp and listed in 2 spring training scorecards, one when they played the New York Giants and the other on an Orioles scorecard. All of them would end up on the Angels in 1956. Ritchie Myers is listed in a few of Dad's 1956 San Francisco Seal scorebooks when he played for the LA Angels, splitting time with Casey Wise at shortstop that season. One is a filled-in scorecard with Casey as the starting shortstop, and another filled-in scorecard has Ritchie as the starter. There's another one from April that Ritchie is not listed at all and was in Chicago at this time, enjoying his first and only cup of coffee in the big leagues. Turned out to be just a springtime cup of joe in the big show that consisted of 4 appearances with the Cubs, all as a pinch runner with only 1 at-bat. Ritchie Myers would finish up the rest of that 1956 season and his career in a nice way by playing for the LA Angels, who were the Pacific Coast League champs that year. Later on in life, after retiring from his job working for the city of Sacramento, Mr. Myers moved to Yreka, California to live out his days in Siskiyou County. I remember visiting family in the Yreka area as a teen, a town called Fort Jones, and have great memories going there. We took our motorcycles to go riding with my cousin on their, at one time, 500 acres of forest land that had the Scott River running right through it. They built a sky tram that could hold 4 people to cross the river to their house. But the best part of that trip, besides ordering French toast every time we stopped for food, was in the car driving up to Fort Jones and Mount Shasta came into view for the first time. I couldn't believe it. It was awesome. A word I rarely use because the word great will suffice for most everything. Awesome is an overused word and has been for years, used to describe anything and everything, and really should be used at the appropriate times, like when you saw a volcano erupt or watched Jimi Hendrix from the front row. The word awesome should not be used to describe your burrito bowl that you got from Chipotle, even though the burrito bowls at Chipotle are awesome. Check the promo code and type in Eat Fresh, and don't forget to smash that like button. Now, guys, do you want to sleep better at night and wake up full of energy? Do what I did. Get yourself a bed in a box. That's right, it's a bed and it comes in a box. Mention the show and get 2 free pillowcases. Here I am goofing off with Larry Mondello and Beaver when I still have a serious story to finish. So let's get serious. Unfortunately, like old folks occasionally do, Ritchie Myers had a fall, but his was bad enough that he would succumb to his injuries, passing away at the age of 81. He played 9 seasons in the minor leagues with a few teams, never making it to the big show until what would turn out to be his last season playing pro ball. That's when he got the call he'd been waiting a decade for. He finally made it to the majors and is headed to Chicago. Now, Ritchie Myers is in a big league clubhouse for the first time and probably trying not to make it look too obvious as he takes it all in, while standing there looking at a Chicago Cubs uniform on a hanger that he's about to put on. A once-in-a-lifetime moment shared by only a few. The first time you buttoned up your big league flannel. His MLB debut came in April of 1956, and his entire MLB career would consist of 4 appearances and 1 at-bat. But at least this player, who no doubt was the smallest on every team he played for, got the opportunity to do what many kids on either side of the world can only dream of, and that is walking up to the plate to face a major league pitcher. And even though Ritchie Myers had only 1 at-bat in the big show, he could always say, it's still 1 more at-bat in the major leagues than me or you. That's Ritchie, spelt with a T.